everyone. Long time no talk. We have been quite busy, and I figured now was as good a time as any to go ahead and give you guys some new videos. So anyway, today I will be talking about what our hatching plans are. If you were with us last year, you may remember that by this point I had two incubators running, and they'd been running for 2 weeks with, I think there was 9 in one and like 6 in the other, or something like that, 6 or 7. And we just turned our incubator on today, so yeah, let's talk about that. We are not hatching this year. I know our own eggs. We are not hatching our own eggs. I know that we talked about it and I was very excited about it, but there are a number of reasons why we have opted not to hatch this year. So first, I guess it's kind of important to note that pretty much all of our ducks are related. Do you have to drink that water, Boreas? Okay. Most of the Ancona ducks are too. I think Shrek and Duckleberry Finn are the only two currently that we have that are not related to Bruce. Oh, I guess Dinah. Don't drink that one. That one's extra. No! That one's gross. Don't drink it. I'm pretty sure there's dead things in there. Okay. We're learning! So anyway, as far as like hatching goes, we are not at a point where we would be keeping any of our hatched eggs because we can't do anything with them. They can't be bred. So I'm not really interested in keeping any of our hatched babies this year. And the other struggle that we've kind of been going back and forth about is that our farm is not NPIP certified. And NPIP certification is the National Poultry Improvement Plan. It's a U.S. Certification that essentially guarantees, it essentially guarantees the health of your flock. It requires, I think, yearly testing for communicable diseases that are common with poultry and waterfowl, and most, if not all states, require that your flock or your farm be NPIP certified to ship over state lines, to ship hatching eggs and live birds over state lines. And I believe the U.S. Postal Service might even require it to ship live birds through them. So because of that, our market is essentially only where we are within driving distance to. Sorry, Boreas has decided he likes eating duck poop, and I really just want him to go to the bathroom. And so, because of that, we don't really have a huge market for ducks. We could probably sell off a few, but we're not like rolling in, duck interest. And because you never know how many ducks you're gonna get, if I can't sell them, I can't hold them. We do have a max here, not by state, but just by what we comfortably have room for. Our coop can hold about 30 ducks, but I would prefer less than that. And we are currently at 19, so we are 19 out here. So we are pushing that a little bit. So I'm not really super duper keen on hatching, and then not being able to sell more ducks. So the future plans there are then that next year we would be attempting to get National Poultry Improvement Plan certified so that we could sell across state lines and ship them through the Postal Service, and then we would have a much greater market to work with. To be honest, a large part of the reason that I'm not breeding this year is just because it's kind of a lot of work. We have to have the fantasy suite set up, and then every morning I have to let out separate ducks, feed and water the separate ones, make sure they don't cross, make sure they don't figure out how to fly over 6-foot fences, because yes, they can do that, especially our Muscovies. Make sure they all have water. Make sure they all have like a pool. They stay there for about 2 weeks because the first week is to make sure that all of the breeding is done with the specific male that I want, and then so I can't like use any of those eggs because they might be mixed with the Anconas, which I don't want, or the Muscovies. And then I collect the eggs, and then I'm on a timetable because the eggs really should be hatched within, or really should be incubated within like a week of being collected. And it's a very long process, but then I can't do more because I don't have the separate incubators. So I take 1 week's worth of eggs. Say if Bruce and Shrek were in a thing, I can take a week's worth of eggs, incubate those, but then I can't really breed Bruce again for another month because I don't have incubators that can do. Some incubators are set up that you would put like, one set of eggs in the next week, the next set of eggs in the next week, you know what I mean? So that some incubators are set up that way and mine aren't. I just have small, very cheap ones, so they all have to go in at the same time, and it's a very long and drawn out process, and the birds all started laying really late this year because we had a really long winter. Last year I was seeing eggs at the beginning of March, and these guys didn't start laying till the end of March, and even now not all of them are laying. I have 19, 18, I think I have 16 girls out, and we're only getting 7 eggs a day, so I don't even know who's laying at this point. And so I just haven't really like refined my breeding program and my breeding setup the way that I want it to. And I just knew that this one would be a lot more error than trial. Boreas, leave it. Boreas, I said leave it. Good boy! And so that was a large part of the reason why I opted not to breed this year. I could if I wanted to, throw like Bucky and Peaches in one of these because I am interested in breeding them again for coloring. I'm interested in seeing Shrek and Bruce's because Shrek's got some really nice patterning. And she's got resting on the wings, which I really like. But it's just all kind of a lot of work, and I'm late in the season for it all. So we're going to plan for that next year and try and get a better setup going. Okay, so that's the plan. So we're not hatching any of our own eggs this year. However, we still have a few problems with our current hatching crew, specifically for the Anconas. So Muscovies are my favorite. I'm sad to say that. Well, I'm sad to say this because they're just so pretty. Look at Natasha. She's just so great. I love it. I do love the Anconas. That's not to say that I don't adore the Anconas. I'm just saying that the Muscovies are my fave. However, the Anconas are a livestock conservancy breed on the watch list, and that means that I might have to yell at Boreas. Hang on. Leave it. Goodbye. He's gonna come get a treat now. Goodbye. So because they're on the watch list, there you go, bub. Yeah, it's one of those things. I enjoy breeding heritage breeds, or I'm intrigued by breeding heritage breeds and things like that. So we have the Ancona, which we kind of just fell into. Those were the ducks that we got, and then I found out that they were on the watch list, and my interest in having a flock grew, etc., etc. But we just don't, we don't have a ton of variation in our flock coloring and in their markings. So Shrek has rusting, and she's got some really nice stripes on her chest, and Bruce is blue. But then if you look at, so Dinah has some spots on her chest, but if you look at like Dinah, Cleo, even kind of Duckleberry Finn over there, they all kind of have this like ink butt, where it just looks like their butts were dipped in ink. And that's fine. That's a good coloring. But we have a lot of those. We don't have a ton of variation. So I was hoping for a little more spice. And also, because blue ducks are a recessive trait, unless our girls are carrying blue, we can only get black. And if some of our girls are carrying blue, which Stormy did, that's how we got Haggis, we only get blue and black, but we can't get silver, which is blue and blue, because Haggis is Bruce's daughter, so I'm not doing that. And then there's also chocolates and tricolors, and I think some variations like lilac, which are chocolate and silver, or chocolate and blue, etc. We can't get any of those colorations. It's important to note here that Ancona ducks are not recognized by the American APA, I believe the American Poultry Association. Some people are currently attempting to get them recognized by the APA, and they have to go color by color, so the closest one to being recognized would be the black. So for show reasons, I would only be able to show the black ones in a breed-specific show if they got recognized. As it stands, I can show them all in open classes. But anyway, so basically what I'm saying is that we just don't have a lot of variation in our flock. And I would like more variation in our flock for a breeding program, which brings us to the next part of our video. Oh, and as far as the Muscovy breeding program goes, it's just kind of on hold right now, which makes me sad. I don't know. So that was long. I might need to move some of those around so it's more coherent. But anyway, so I will go show you what we are doing this year. It's very loud. Sorry, Fred. So this is one thing that we did do this year. I'm going to refill their water real quick while I talk. Oh, it doesn't work. So this is one thing that we did. We got 2 Anconas from our local fleet supply. This is Troy. This is Moxie. Y'all need to chill. And tentatively, I will be keeping them. They are both black Anconas. You see Troy is missing, it doesn't have quite that ink butt, which is really nice. The downside to these guys is that they both came from an all black Ancona breeder, so I don't think they will have the genes for blue or anything else. But we at least have a Drake that has blood that's not Bruce's. And we do have an extra female now that's not related. These guys are Cayugas, and they're not part of the breeding program. Cayugas are also on the watch list, interestingly enough, but I'm not breeding them. I may breed them in the future if we ever get more room. But Cayugas are really fun because, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can. So on Moxie there, you can see that kind of greenish, bluish sheen that's common with black feathers, and Cayugas are all black. And they are just so gorgeous. What are you doing? Sorry, Boreas is making problems over there. And they're just really gorgeous, and I really just wanted some, yard ornaments, essentially. Hang on. I just really love the look of Cayugas, and so I got a couple. I might sell down a little bit and only keep one. But for gender reasons, I bought 3 to make sure that I got a female. I was hoping for 2 females and a male so I could sell off 1 pair, a breeding pair of male and female, but if I did my fence sexing correctly, they're all females. So anyway, I'll probably sell down to 1, maybe. So I just have something pretty. So that is those guys. So in this box are some hatching eggs that I ordered from Ancona Acres in Missouri. And we're going to be hatching those this year. I got a new incubator, what I'm excited about, as you can see in it. Haha. So anyway, the incubator needs to run for about 24 hours, and these guys need to sit for 24 hours to reacclimate. So the reason we're doing this is to get more coloring. I believe she breeds all the colors. And because we're not hatching this year, it made sense to me to take the hatching time that I would have had and hatch ones that we can actually breed that aren't related to our current flock. So there are about 6 in here, give or take, and just letting the new incubator get warmed up and ready to go. These guys are going to sit for 24 hours. And then tomorrow, I will do a little video getting these guys in the incubator. So one of the fun things about this one that I'm super stoked about, it's It's got a candler attached. So yeah, if these guys produce a drake that is a different color than blue or black, I might end up selling down Troy and keeping this one next year. But that all remains to be seen. So these are hopefully our new eggs. Now, if you've done the math yet, I said I wanted max 30. We currently have 19, plus 5, which is 24, plus 6 if all of these guys hatch, give or take, and now we're at 30. So I won't be able to keep everybody, and now begins the conversation about who do we sell down and who's worth keeping, and that is hopefully a whole video for next year when I actually have to think about that. But until then, there we are. Alright, so I'm sorry, that was kind of a long video. I'm going to take off my glasses because the glare from the window is kind of a lot. But, so yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Tomorrow I will probably, hopefully, do a video about getting our hatching eggs in the incubator. And a little more in depth of why we need to let them sit for 24 hours. And then Wednesday, I wanted to talk about getting our egg certified to be sold for eating. And then on Friday, I was hoping to talk about what it takes to be NPIP National Poultry Improvement Plan certified. So that's the plan for this week. You know me, my plans never work. So yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow then. Bye.